Welcome to another episode of Conversations in Automation with C&E Advanced Technologies. My name is Donnie Bischoff. Excited today to host Kevin Gustin with Siemens. Kevin, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing well. Kevin, can you explain your role at Siemens and what you do?
I'm an OEM account manager representing the digital industries portfolio for Siemens.
So Kevin, we know that Siemens is the global leader in manufacturing technology. With a vast array of solutions, customers, portfolio mixes, Kevin, what are you seeing out there?
I'm seeing businesses that are growing faster than they're able to execute, and they're having a hard time keeping up with demand.
Is that from a personnel standpoint or a throughput?
I think it's both. I think the workforce is very competitive right now. Finding good people is hard. There's a lot of knowledge that is leaving the workforce. And I also think the demand from customers is much higher than it used to be on, a project timeline.
Sure.
You used to have 18 months, now you get 6. And I think that's a big driver and what's pushing a lot of these influences, the do more with less mentality.
So you mentioned the demand for customers, speed to market. Can you expand a little bit about what's causing that or driving that demand?
So I look at this in two different ways, right? I'm an OEM guy, so I'm looking at from a machine builder perspective. Projects in the past that used to have 18 to 24 months now have 6 months, and they have less people to get it done. So they have to have the tools in order to do something in order to market. On the end user side, their customers, which is usually a consumer, also want things quicker and faster and better, and with innovation. So the OEM has to meet the demand of our end users to meet, obviously, the consumer demands. If you follow the whole value chain, that's what comes back onto the OEM to get things done quicker.
Kevin, you mentioned the aging workforce, right? So what kind of constraints is that putting on the industry in whole?
Well, I don't think it's any secret that there's a knowledge gap that is going to be, either is or will be leaving the industry, and it has to do with application know-how. Today's world requires engineers to be systems engineers and not just controls engineers, right? They need to understand the mechanics of the machine they're touching so that they can make their programming more efficient.
So Kevin, you just highlighted some very significant challenges that customers and users, our market is seeing.
Yep.
What is Siemens' approach to some of these?
Well, first I'm going to focus on the product I'm responsible for. Sure. And if you look at our hardware and software solutions, they're modular, flexible, and scalable. And the idea is once a task has been done once, to repeat that task the following times, there's a lot less labor and time involved. So that as projects grow and change, some of the engineering's already done up front, and you can grow, your program grows and changes, on demand.
Is that with software and hardware?
Yes, our software and hardware work together. So the hardware is flexible in both form factor and as you grow in performance, and the software is flexible and modular in the sense of keeping libraries, repeating, program blocks, adding licenses for enhanced features. So the idea is, like I said, as your application grows, our hardware and software can grow and change with you.
With some of that unique software that Siemens has, how do you address customers' need to enhance speed to market?
In the past, you had planning and design, and then mechanical engineering and electrical engineering, and then your programmer was last on the project, and any time he got squished by everybody else going over their time. With some of our tools that we have now, you can do a lot of those processes in parallel. One of the big things that Siemens is focused on is a true digital twin. And the concept is you can design and simulate and program a machine, product, or plant before anybody has to leave their desk.
Kevin, when you say digital twin and simulation, give me a little bit more in depth of what that simulation actually is and what that means.
Yeah, so when we talk digitalization and simulation, you can simulate the product, you can simulate the machine or process to make that product, or you can simulate the entire plant or factory that manufactures that product. I'm going to take the example from a machine builder. So an OEM builds a widget on their machine.
Sure.
You build a mechanical model that you can simulate, and there's several tools in the market that do that, what we do well is we connect the PLC code from TIA Portal to drive that actual simulation on the model. So you can prove out your PLC code while you're proving out your mechanical system.
Kevin, that sounds like a lot of cutting edge technology.
Yes, but it is grounded in 20 years of innovation and acquisitions. If you follow the trend of what Siemens is doing, Siemens is a software company. Our hardware enables our software to work, and that's what I think you're going to see in the future. So while it is cutting edge, it's not brand new to us either.
It seems Siemens has a great approach to addressing the earlier challenges that we talked about. What about the final challenge, which is the knowledge gap? What's Siemens' approach to addressing that?
Yeah, so there's obviously a couple different ways that we're looking at it. The first one everybody thinks of is training. Siemens has a full regimen of training online, self-led and instructor-led, on-site, off-site. Our partners also have great training options as well. We also put on workshops, so if somebody is well-versed in one of our competitors, we have workshops to help them transfer their knowledge from their competitors to our platform. The last thing that's most important to me is we have a great team of engineers at Siemens at all different levels that have application-specific knowledge, not just product knowledge. So if you have a specific application, we have guys that can help you solve your application.
Kevin, what do you think are some of the most helpful workshops that Siemens offers?
Well, off the bat, there's several that come to mind. The most popular one is our Rockwell to Portal workshop. We usually have a third party that knows Rockwell and Siemens very well, and they come in and teach a 2-day workshop that you go through tasks that you would do in Rockwell, and we show you the best way to do it in Siemens. Another workshop that we do is we do like an Ethernet IP connectivity workshop with how we can play well with others in the factory with several different products. We also have some safety specific workshops as well that are very popular, and I would say popularity goes in the order of what I just listed. And then from there we have SciPec events that our partners put on that are very specific to certain products or applications.
So within these workshops, what type of talent level can benefit from coming to this?
Really all type of talent level, because the guy who's well experienced in another platform is going to be able to take that knowledge and transfer it to our platform. And it never hurts for a lower level engineer to gain knowledge of how things are done. So it's really, as long as somebody has a general automation understanding and what some of the components are, it's worth the investment in time.
Before I let you go, what are some things on the horizon that you see that I need to pay attention to?
So I don't think it's any secret everybody's been using the word data and big data, but in my opinion, it's the edge computing is really going to hit the factory floor. Decisions that are going to be made, some AI engines that are available are going to be making decisions on the factory floor. I don't believe cloud is going anywhere, but I do think you're going to see an increase in edge computing, and I think that's going to help tie together everything we talked about today. So when we mentioned digital twin, the best way to improve your model is to bring in data from the real world. If you have an edge device, you can collect that real world data and you can improve your model and make it more accurate. That way, if you want to make changes, you go to your model and you can make changes in your model and it has the most accurate data of what's running in the real world. And I think that's the trend you're going to see, the loop of information as we cycle back between the digital world and the real world.
Kevin, this is some great stuff today. Awesome conversation. Obviously, we could talk all day with what Siemens is bringing to the industry in terms of manufacturing technology. I appreciate your time for coming in.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Conversations in Automation with C&E Advanced Technologies. If you have any questions about Siemens, please get with Kevin Gustin. He's more than happy to help. Get with your local technology consultant, and we'll see you again next time.